Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial. My name is Dayo. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can rig a crankshaft with a piston like this. And if you need the model just to follow along, you can check in the description below so as for you to download yours. So, and I will be grateful if you are able to subscribe at the end of this video as to be a means of support. So I'll be so grateful. So now, without wasting time, let's move right into it. So I'm going to be pausing this. So moving on to a fresh model without rigging. So we're going to be starting from scratch how to rig this. So the first thing I'm going to be starting with now, I'm going to make sure that my armature is located right at the center of this model. So now, looking at the movement of the piston, you realize it's moving in a vertical direction. So now, the first thing I'm going to do now is to make a kind of an extension bond, of which is going to be moving along the axis, and also I'm going to be making a bond for the piston, then for the connecting rod, then for the crankshaft. So now, let's quickly do that now. So now I'm going to say Shift X, cursor to selected, then Shift A, then single bond. So I need to see my bond. So I'm going down right here, click in front to see what I'm doing. So it will be helpful also if you can move to the wireframe mode. So the first thing I'm going to be doing now, I want to arrange the extension bond first. So I'm going to say G in the Z. So G in the Z, I will try to make a G in the Z, bring in the other direction this way. Okay, so I can extend this up to this point. So this will be my extension bond. So the bond for the piston now, E in the Z. In the Z. Okay, so I need to see through. Let me on that. So I think it's gonna be better for you if you try as much as possible to make sure that the bone is located at the center of your model. So now I need to locate the center of this. So what I will do now, I will move on to the edit mode for this, then Shift S, cursor to selected, because I already have a circle picked already in there. So now my cursor is on it. Now I can come back to my bond, then Shift S, now the selection to cursor. Okay, so I can try to push this in the other side as too. Okay, to be straight enough. So also now I'm going to be extending the bone for the piston, as you can see. So the piston is going to be ending at the last point there. So I need to know the center line for the piston too. So I will just move to the edit mode for the piston. So down. Okay, I think I should be able to find it on here. Okay, so now as you can see a line already picked there. Then I can say Shift S, cursor to selected. Okay, okay, I have one bone in here. I didn't want that for now. Okay, so I can now move on by extruding this more. So E in the Z to move down. So I need this endpoint to be at the center where the cursor is. So Shift S, then selection to cursor. Obviously that's now. Now for the sake of the rotation, so we want the rotation to be at this line as we're looking at. We want it to be the axis of our rotation. So I'm going to be adding another armature. So I'm not going to be extending this. So I'll move on out to object mode. Then I will need to add another armature bond, single bond now. So I will extend it up to this point to be the point of rotation for the for the crankshaft now. So shift A, single bone. Obviously, then now I can now extend this last point G in the Z up to this point. Obviously that. So this point will be where this end will be my point of rotation. So, and remember, this bone is going to be for my crankshaft. So that's the second armature. So now, and even after applying that, I will need another bone as to be for rotation. That will be for the controller. So instead of me rotating right from the center, I will be rotating outside there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make a kind of copy. So shift D in the Y. I'm going to make a copy. Okay. So I think it will be, let me delete that. I think it will be better if I make the copy in object mode. Shift D in the Y. Shift D in the Y. Okay, so as we were able to pick the bone individually. So that's able to make that. So I will be able to rotate the model even in object mode without having to move into post mode. So that's why I have to do it that way. So now looking at this, I will need to invert this the direction of this. So in your object mode, edit mode, just right click, then switch direction. So that's that. So I will need also the origin to be at this point, because it's going to be rotating along the origin. So what I'm going to do now, shift S, cursor to selected, then I can bring the origin. So come down to A, so set the origin to cursor. So now even if I press R in the Y, so it's going to be rotating along the axis. So now the next thing we're going to be doing now is to apply the mechanism now and the inverse kinematics. So I'll be careful enough to pick the right thing. So, and I will want you also to do that, to be careful to pick the right thing now. Now I'm picking the first armature. Now I'm in the front first armature. So come down into first for post mode. Come down to post mode. Then you can add a bone constraint, inverse kinematics. Then the target is going to be, let me zoom in so as to pick the right thing. It's not going to be this one, it's going to be the second armature. So I'm going to pick in the second armature. So the bone now is going to be this. So the bone is referring to is the bone here. So it's going to be the second armature. Hope you understand now. Now the target is the second armature, and also the bone is going to be the bone, this bone, smaller bone inside, and we're applying the kinematics to the first armature. So that's how it is. So I need this to be rotating this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a sort of parenting. I'm going to parent the smaller bone here to the one outside here. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So I'm going to be parenting the smaller one here to the one outside. So Ctrl P to bone. So when I press R in the Y now, obviously that. So when I press R in the Y, it will be the one controlling it. Obviously that. So also there is some things we need to do. You can see that it's not moving as we want it to move. So we need to lock it in some certain axis. So I'm going to move back to my post mode, then come down to the bone down here. Then I can lock it. I want it to be moving in the Z direction. So I can lock it in the X and Y. Yeah, for this. Then also this, I can lock it in the X and Y. Then also for the last one, which is going to be the extension bone, so I'm going to lock it in the X and Y. Then also increase the IK stretch up to 1. So when I try to rotate it in the Y now, obviously, so as it's rotating, this last bone that is helping with the extension. So now we are done with the inverse kinematics. So we need to apply it now to the model. So we need to parent the bone now to the model. So remember the first bone. So I'll try to on. Okay, it's already unlocked already. So I'm going to start the parenting now. So the bone first. I mean the model first, then with the bone now. Obviously, then Control P, then to bone. Obviously, now the next one is going to be the connecting rod first. So click on the connecting rod, which is the model, then to the bone, then Control P, that, then also the smaller one. And be careful to pick the right thing. Okay, so I may not be able to pick it well here. Let me move it down into. Okay, let me move down. Let me try and hide this. So I'm going to pick this, the crankshaft, then pick the smaller. Oh, it's picking the wrong thing again. Okay, so you pick the crankshaft, then the bone, Control P. Oh, again, let's try that again. Okay, let me move back to my post mode. Click the object, then click the bone, Control P, bone. Okay, I think we are good now. So we need to move to the post mode before we apply our parenting. So that's what mistake I'm making. So now I think I'm done with applying those. Now let me R in the Y. Now let's see what we've done. Obviously this. So let me move to solid mode as far as to see what we've done so far. So R in the Y. Obviously now, as you can see. So now what we have to do next now is for us to apply also to other piston. So we are done with the first part of it. So without wasting time, let's quickly try to apply it to other ones too. So I'm going to go back to the edit to the wireframe. So I'm going to be in the edit mode now. So I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to copy this bone now right to this bone. I mean, just copy it right down to the model here. So Shift D in the Y direction. Remember, I'm making use of Shift D in the Y direction. Shift D in the Y direction. Even before we do that, let's try this way. Let's try this way. Let's be in the object mode because we need to copy the whole bone now. So Shift D in the Y direction. So we need to be in the object mode, not in the other way around. So make sure you are in the object mode before you make your copy. And the fact about this is this, that now the first part here we realize it is down here, the point of rotation for the end part for the what is it called, the connecting rod. Yeah, connecting rod. So the end part for the connecting rod is down here, and looking at here you realize the end part for the connecting rod is top here. So what I'm going to do is now make a sort of adjustment. So I'm going to bring this up here. So I will try to align the bone properly for this. So I will be able to do that. This in the edit mode for this. So let me try and adjust this first. G in the Z. So So I'm trying to make it move up here. So in the edit mode, obviously I try to position it up there. Then also this, I can try to move it up also, G in the Z. Sometimes it might be confusing, but okay. We have to be careful as not to scatter things. Okay. I think the problem I'm having now, let's see. Okay. So I need to move this to be at the center of it. So I need to make sure that it's at the center of there. Okay. I don't know if you understand what I've just done. So you realize I make sure that this is the point of rotation. This area is the axis of rotation. So the end part of it must be at this axis. So even if I try to make a sort of rotation from here, R in the Y. So at least I think that should work. Okay, that should work now. So you just try your best so that it won't be confusing. Okay, I think I've been able to position that well now. So what I'm gonna do, even to some extent, I look at it that we don't even need this last one, but this last one, but one way or the other is attached to it. Let me see. So we want this point. Okay, let's bring it back. Okay, now let's try to apply the as you can see now, if I try to rotate this, let me bring it back to solid mode. If I try to rotate this, R in the Y, I think it's working better now. I think it's working better. So now let's apply. Let's apply and see what we've done. So I'm going to come back to my post mode, then click the model first, then the bone. So Ctrl P to bone, then click the model first, then the bone, Ctrl P to bone. I think that's all we have to apply for the remaining. We don't need to reapply this again for the crankshaft because the rotation that is going to be applied there is what's going to be transferred also down here. So now let's see what we've done so far now. So R in the Y, obviously what we've done now. So if you're unable to get what I've done there, so just wait till this next one I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be making another copy. So I will be in object mode now. So Shift D in the Y. So it's going to be for this. Then Shift D in the Y, and it's going to be for this. Obviously that's now. So what I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be making a sort of parenting. So because they are working the same way, so that's why I'm parenting this. So what I was trying to explain initially in the first part is that now you realize that the movement for these two, they have the same movement. right? But the time of at which they move to the last point is different. So now looking at this point, when this one is down, this one is up. So in the first part, we make sure that the bone for the connecting rod, the end part of it is down here. Hope you understand. And the point of rotation for the crankshaft is also at the top here. It's also at the top here. So now that's why we try when we copy it down here, realize, okay, if when this is down, the end part for the bone is down, so the point of rotation is still remaining at the point there. So that's why even at the top here, the point of rotation is still here. So that's the adjustment we just did when we tried to copy it to the other side. So I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So now, without wasting time now, let's quickly parent the remaining. So I'm going to move to the post mode. So now the model is Ctrl P, burn. Then the model, Ctrl P, burn. So that's all we have to do for that. Then also this model, Ctrl P, I would be in post mode, and Ctrl P. Okay. Bone. Okay, now the model, Ctrl P. Okay. Try not to click parent into two bones. So I'm just so I need to remove it from there. I don't know if I've made a mistake of. Okay, let me just see. Oh, there's a problem. I hope you can see. So I think I've made a wrong parenting. So you just have to be careful with your own parenting. Let me see where the problem lies. R in the Y. So there's a problem with this. So let me remove the parenting on this. I think I will need to recopy this. I made a mistake on this. I will need to recopy this. So let me move to the object mode and delete this. I will need to recopy that. So let me see if this one doesn't have any problem. Let's see. Okay, I think it's working fine. So let me recopy this. Shift D in the Y. So I'll try my best so that I won't be parenting into something wrong. I mean to a wrong bone. So this. Can you see now I'm clicking the down one? So let me remove that. So Ctrl P to bone. Then the next one, Ctrl P. Okay, Ctrl P to bone. So let's see what we've done so far now. So R in the Y. Oh, and there's a problem there. What's happening? Okay, let's try that again. In the post mode. I didn't pick what I ought to pick. Okay, obviously that now. So now we're now left with the remaining two. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy that, be in object mode, then Shift D, for Shift D in the Y. I'm going to copy that, and then Shift D in the Y. So copy that button that. Then all I'm going to do now is parenting. So let me be in the post mode. So parenting this to this, drop P, bone, then top one, the piston, just try to remove that, drop P, bone, then also last one, Ctrl P, bone, then lastly Ctrl P, bone. So now let's hope that works fine. Okay, so I think we're done with that. So what we can do now, as we can see, everything is working fine. So when we rotate this in the Y direction, so working fine now. So that's just how I was able to make that, so without stress. So now this one, I will just have to parent it to this. So I'll just parent this to this, Ctrl P, object. So when I rotate this two, it's going to follow suit. How do you say that? So they will be moving together. So now we can just make a quick animation of that. So I'm going to be applying the I'm going to be setting the key on the bone I'm using for rotation. So I'm going to set the key at 0 first, I, then also to the last frame. To the last frame, let's say 20,000. Then I. Then let's see what we've done so far now. So when we play that now, so it's moving backward, so but we don't want it that way. So let's set it to minus. Let's set it to minus. Okay, I. Then let's play that now. Okay, I think we are doing fine. So this comes to the end of this tutorial. So if you have any comments, if you have any question, so please help us with that, so we'll be able to respond. And please try to support us by subscribing, so we'll be so much grateful. So thank you very much. So we'll see you next time in the next video tutorial we're going to be dropping. Thank you so much. Bye for now.